Okay, one moment here. Sure. Let's go a little bit higher. That one I saw there. Okay, good morning. Ohayo gozaimasu. Means good morning in Japanese. But now I actually was looking at it. It would be kunbanwa, means good evening, because right now it's almost midnight. But if I was over in Japan right now, I would say, oh yes, minasai, means good night. Anyways, hold on real quick. There it goes. There it goes. I got asked by Brother Dale if I could have the sermon for today. This was last Sunday, and I was a little bit reluctant at first because I wanted to share about Noah's flood, the continuation of the series. But as I was thinking about it, there's one thing I really want to share today, and here's what actually my title is called. One. Got too many remotes up here. There it goes. And let's see, that would be. There it goes. This is going to be called In the Last Days. I want to talk about what all has been going on, especially with the trip up to New York City. I want to give like a couple highlights about it, but I also want to have this in a teaching method. So I got a question. Here's a question for you. This is coming soon. Can anybody just list out Donatu? Couple signs. Wars. Rumors of wars too. Okay. Anybody else?
Children rebelling against parents.
Children rebelling against parents. Famines. Good. Prophecies fulfilled. That's great. Was that lovers of self? Okay, that's great. Good is evil and evil is good. Boy, I tell you, that's so much New York in a nutshell right there. Anybody else? So basically, yeah, don't think that's too close. So basically, we're going to be looking a little bit into about the last days today. Going to be a little bit. This is going to be a futuristic message, but I want to start off and there it goes. Okay, there it goes. Just goes over there. I want to start in Second Timothy, chapter 3. And this is in the King James Version, but I'm going to also read this in the NLT because some of these words. This know also that in the last day perilous times shall come. Here's a question. As we go down to the timeline, we often see things being unfolded. Perilous times mean there's going to be difficult times coming ahead, right? And as we go down through the ages, we see a whole bunch of things that we probably never even dreamed of we seen. Like I would say, I think it was in the 1970s. Who ever heard of Roe versus Wade? It's talked about a little bit about. I think the whole issue come to about abortion. I believe that what it was, and I believe in the 1920s and 1930s, people would never dream that they passed a law saying that it is okay to kill your own child. There's in what was it? I think it was in 2016. It was very recently. There was a law passed that it's okay to have same-sex marriage in all 50 states. I don't think we dreamed of that in the 1950s. Things are really starting to get from bad to worse. And I was telling a friend of mine, I said, of all things that have been happening right now, I think it's going to get far worse. But there's still hope. I just want to say this right now. This might seem like it's going to be a whole bunch of bad stuff. There's still hope. So it says, for men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetousness, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God, having a form of godliness but denying the power thereof, from such turn away. Does this describe America today? I mean, I don't know. I've seen a lot of this going on, even down in you go even to Town Square. You see quite some of these that are being fulfilled there. New York City, I think all of them are being fulfilled. But I'm going to read this. This is in page 1002. If you want to turn there, 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1, and I'll read down to verse 5. You should know this, Timothy, that in the last days there will be difficult times. For people will love only themselves and their money. They will be boastful and proud, scoffing at God, disobedient to parents, and ungrateful. They will consider nothing. They will consider nothing sacred. They will be unloving and unforgiving. They will slander others and have no self-control. They will be cruel and hate what is good. They will betray their friends, be reckless, be puffed up with pride, and love pleasure rather than God. They will act religious, but they will reject the power that could make them godly. Stay away from people like that. Okay, I think that's quite of a commentary that what we see. The whole thing is being fulfilled. Like well, I think it was Jake said, prophecies are being fulfilled. So I want to take a look on Matthew 24. Matthew 24. And I want to go verse by verse on this. And I am going to end it in the middle of the chapter. Then I want to talk about what we really saw in New York City. Then I want to pick up with some hope afterwards. In Matthew 24, and of course this is King James, I just read it this way. And he, which is Jesus, sat on a Mount of Olives. The disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? That's a pretty big question, I would say. It says, tell us. I mean, this is right before he went to the cross. He said, tell us what is the sign of your coming and of the end of the world. And Jesus said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. That's actually a big statement because it says, take heed. Listen to this. That take note of this, that let no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. Now, I remember back, this was quite a few years ago, I read an article that somewhere down in South America, there was actually someone there that said that he was the reincarnation of Christ. And he said that he has the holes in his hands to prove it. And he had quite a bit of followers back then, if I'm not mistaken. I had no idea whatever happened to him. But I remember when I read that article, I go like, if he was Jesus, then where was all the things that was said to come? Like it says supposed to be coming in the clouds, every eye is going to see him. Where's all this sign? And you know what? I'm not going to go into this, but Jesus said that his coming is not going to be a secret one, for everyone is going to see him right then. So his coming is not going to be a private one. Just one real quick mention. There is actually a religion that says that Jesus was come in 1912, I believe it was. Either 1912 or 1914. And when that prophecy, I guess, when that prophecy fell flat, they keep saying now that he did come, but it was a secret coming. I don't understand that one. 1914, okay. Okay, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, pestilence, and earthquakes in diverse places. I want to reread the number 7 again, just put in some clarification. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. For there shall be famines, which is, okay, who can tell me what famine is? Hunger? Yeah, I think hunger, whenever I think of famine, I think of drought. There'll be very less food to go around. It's going to be very expensive. Remember in Book of Genesis, they had when Joseph went to Egypt, and there was a 7-year famine, I believe it was. So yeah, people all around Egypt actually came to Egypt to buy food because Egypt actually was storing enough to make it through the famine. Pestilence, I actually looked that word up. To really clear what pestilence is, it's mostly likely like disease. I honestly don't know if I call it, I think I might can call it a coronavirus pestilence. And earthquakes, and we have plenty of earthquakes here, and various places. All of these are the beginning of sorrows. Then, but I'm going to say this here. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. As we go progress in time, I've seen a lot of people that are really hating Christians because we represent Christ. Jesus said that if you love, if you are with me, the world is going to hate you because they hated Jesus, and now it's going to hate us. And I could go on long time showing how much persecution we actually have, but I just remember this one time, and this is when I was in New York City. We were there singing, and I'm going to show you the slides. We were there singing, and they were making signs up. And at the last, say, an hour, half hour before we decided to leave, there was actually a sign that I go like, oh boy, if they only knew. They said that Christians are the, what is it, West is the Taliban of America. And that's actually some of their mindset nowadays. And there are things actually like people. Let's say here's a good example. There was actually a baker that made wedding cakes and cakes for, I guess, birthday parties and things like that. He said on his website he is not going to make for certain events like Halloween. I forget, there are a couple of things. Halloween, and the other one is for gay marriage. There were some people that were offended by it, that they actually took him to court about that. I know that he won in one case, but I think he lost in another case. But yeah, there are going to be people that are going to be hating us because we're Christians. We are here to spread the light, but the people in darkness don't like the light. And many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. It almost seems like it's getting worse and worse and worse. But it says, but he that endures unto the end, the same shall be saved. And then I want to focus on this verse for a moment. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. Here's a question. I want everybody to take a stab at this one. How many languages do we have in the world today? How many languages I don't know. I actually did not Google this one.
15,000.
15,000? I don't know. I should have looked it up, but I want to show you a picture, and this is from if you ever go to the Bible Museum, I'm actually planning a trip there to take the night there. Go to the Museum of the Bible in Washington. There's an exhibit there, and I'm going to show you this exhibit. All of these Bibles, there's yellow, red, and gray. They all line up this wall. The yellow represents a Bible in their own language. The red, I believe it was, they only have partial of the Bible. The gray, they have no translation of the Bible yet. But right up here, I want to show you this one here. 993,426 numbers of chapters still to be translated before all languages have access to the Bible. I actually was doing a little bit of calculations. That's a little bit over 800 languages still need to be translated before people can actually have an access to the Bible in their own language. So here's what we know so far. This is from Matthew 24. Here's what we know so far about Jesus coming. There shall be false prophets trying to deceive you. Now, in Matthew 24, I didn't write this down. There's a difference between a false prophet and false Christ. Like I said before, this person trying to say that he was Jesus incarnated. But the false prophets, they say, well, I'm here because this is, what God told me to do, but he's trying to deceive many people. So there's a difference between that. There shall be wars and rumors of wars. There shall be famines, pestilence or diseases, and earthquakes in various places. Christians will be persecuted and hated in all nations. Many shall be offended and betray one another, and many false prophets rise up and deceive many. Sin will be prevalent in the world, and love of many will get cold, but the gospel will be preached in all nations before the end comes. Now, I want to show clips, a few photos here, and I'm going to talk a little bit about it. Now, we went up to New York. We love Ephrata Christian Fellowship was do this yearly. I loved it. This is my second time going up there, and I loved it. I'll show you in a moment. This is actually right when we got there. There was actually a band that was playing over in this direction, so we couldn't really set up where we normally set up. So we decided to go over there, but my friend Darius is right here, Richard and myself. I'll show you the next one. We were actually witnessing, talking to these group of people here. These were actually Jews. That was actually a very interesting conversation. We actually talked to them for about 20 minutes. They really didn't know what they believe. They said, well, I'm Jewish, but they actually don't hold the Jewish traditions. But we've been asking them questions, about, Jesus and things like that. He said he's open-minded. His name, I believe, is Jordan. And if you want to just keep him in prayer, he says that I challenged him to read the book of John, because he said that he doesn't really take any of the New Testament as any kind of historical account. He only sticks to the Old Testament. It's very interesting. He said that he doesn't really read the Old Testament either. I don't know, but he said that he will take my challenge to read the Gospel of John. Next one. This is when we set up right here. And we did a lot of singing. I love how there was a group, two boys actually stand on this statue right on the edge and hold up signs like this way. One guy came over to us and asked us how much did we actually pay them to get up and stand up on there. I go like, nothing. They chose to do that by themselves. So, yeah, it was only a short group, like 16, 17 that came along with us. This is Darius preaching, and every once in a while, we sang a few songs, then we go up and do like what Darius is doing. He was preaching out there, then we go back and sing a few more, then someone else go up and preach. People are taking photos. There were two signs here. People love taking photos of our two signs. There were a lot of people that were taking tracks as well, and there were a lot of good conversations up there. Okay, that's it. Now, I'm not quite sure what happened, but after the whole mob came and left, every single one of these tracks was gone. I'm not sure they took them home to read or they burned them. I had no idea. But yeah, I'll show you how busy it was actually. Okay, remember, right here is the whole square where we were at. Now watch this. That's a lot of people. There was around I estimate around between 200 to 300 people right there. And they were really attacking. They were holding up signs. And I remember it was pretty much like this here. But I saw someone on this side. He was actually holding up a bundle of signs. And I went over to Richard and I said, here's what I think. I think we're going to have either a protest or a riot because they are already making up the signs. So that is pretty much, yeah, these are the signs that I saw that this guy had. Is and it was just a major crowd that was just coming onto our little group right here. And they were a lot of times they were almost up in our face, just yelling and shouting at us. This woman, you actually see her in a couple slides because she stayed there and she really engaged in conversations with us a lot. And she's very outspoken. I think it's these two women right here. They were very outspoken, and I think a lot of times when it comes to, let's say, the abortion protest, emotion runs high, and I think that's what was driving them. That we had no idea there's going to be a protest up there or a scheduled protest, but we were up there. I believe it was basically God called us on the day they had a protest up there. They think we're up there to protest a protest to because they are for abortion. They think that we're against it and we're up there to combat them. So that's why they were so angry with us. Now we were trying to sing, but they keep yelling and trying to start chanting. And this guy came over. He's got like, maybe you should, disperse and people will calm down. We didn't think it was a good idea at first. But when we actually did that, it seemed like, okay, it was, anger level was up here. It was down there after we dispersed. And we got so much conversations. And I told Darius, I said, we prayed for conversations. I think we got more than we can handle on that one. I think that what's it? What's it that next picture? Okay. These two girls, they said that they were Catholic. Oh, they raised up Catholic. This girl on the left is actually an atheist. I'm not sure about the other girl. And I've been trying to challenge them, about atheism. And that conversation didn't really go too well on that one. But I think this picture is my favorite picture on the clip show. Is this one here? It's the same girl that was screaming at us, but it seems like there's really not that much hostility there. I'm really not quite sure what's going on with that one. But yeah, and right here, this is my son Richard. Right here is actually one of my favorite parts. I told this story quite a bit. This is actually a reporter for a newspaper. He was actually interviewing us, and he came over. He asked us, he asked us our names, and then he said, uh, "What is?" He asked us, "What is your view on abortion?" And I told him, I said, "Here's my view on abortion. I believe what the Bible says. In the Bible, God hates the shedding of innocent blood." He wrote that word for word in his notes. And if he did that almost word for word, I think that message can go out. So I don't think that message is going to stop when we left there. I think the message is still going to go out with people telling their friends, what happened? Okay, yeah, this is another conversation. Do you remember about this, Richard?
Um, Actually, I don't know.
Okay.
Is that the one with that the Catholic girls
No, not, I don't think that's the Catholic girl. I think that's the one um, that's been just yelling at us and things like that.
That's the one that said, I don't know, there was one, you said, is that the one that you said, well, you just contradicted yourself?
I'm not sure if it's that the one or not. It might have been. Um, but let's see here. Yeah, there was. We actually, this is actually when we dispersed, and you can see people still holding up the signs, but the anger level actually went down on that one. Let's see what else here.
Tell them what they were chanting.
Uh,
My body, my life, my body, my life.
okay, I'm gonna tell you a testimony about that here. And this was so funny because this person is not part of our group. They keep this person, I think it was this girl here. She said, well, this is my body, this is my choice. And then this person that came up, he's not part of our group, but I think he was God sent. Because he came up and said, so this is so you say your body, your choice, right? Then what about the vaccine? Because people want to make it mandatory. I mean, your body, your choice, right? She go like, oh no, that's different. That's different. Go like, really? I mean, if you're pro-choice, want me to be pro-choice about the vaccinations? And she go like, no, that's different. That's different. How? But anyways, yeah, there were just a few more pictures of Darius talking to. I think this is the one that's Catholic. I'm not sure about the other one, or was Catholic. And this is the final picture here. Hey, Richard, do you want to come up real quick, please? The whole thing, we were there from 12 to 5 o'clock. The whole thing was between 2 to 5, so about 3 hour protest. We found out that later, right next to the Washington Square, was actually the it was a liberal university. So I think we had a lot of college students from that university there. So you want to tell like some of the highlights or some of the things you saw there?
Well, the Jewish guys, um they seem to have a disconnect. They seem to want total proof that that even the Old Testament was true, and we couldn't. I just didn't know how to talk to him because he was rejecting everything. He says, "Well, I don't know if there's any truth any of it," and so basically he rejected rejected the New Testament on that and the Old Testament, and I said, well, why don't you just pray to God and ask God if Jesus is the Son of God, and He'll answer you. And so he said okay, and then but he almost got, when I was talking to him, he almost got really angry. Like I don't understand. The thing that I don't understand about the whole thing is if Jewish people, if Jesus is Jewish and he's the only one that matches anything to do with the Messiah, why would they reject them? I don't get it. I never understood that. I mean, it's like, oh well, maybe it's because we all want to live our own life. We don't want to live the life of Christ because we like our sin. Maybe that's why. I don't know. But it didn't. They didn't seem to have that indication. Like I couldn't tell if they were doing something wrong, and they did wear the yarmulke. So I'm wondering why they were wearing the yarmulke if they were not into at least the Old Testament. And then there was a Muslim guy, and I was comparing Islam with the Bible and how Jannah is a total corrupt idea about Jannah is heaven, the Arabic word for heaven, but in Jannah only the men get blessed because they're promised 72 virgins and 500 concubines and boys. I'm really they're totally against homosexuality and that kind of stuff, but they don't that's written in their laws, for Jannah, and they also I said that they also want to their book is about conquest, not about peace and love, like they wanted everybody to think. And basically, if you don't worship Allah, they're supposed to kill you. You know, it's a book of conquest and murder anybody else that doesn't believe in Allah and or mostly Muhammad. So the whole thing is, he agreed. He totally agreed, and he said he was going to go home and read the Bible from then on. And he was really open. He said, "Well, I'm not really at radical Islam." I said, "Well, any good Muslim that reads the Quran is a radical Islamic. Basically they because the book tells you to murder other people. Because they think that they're the arm of God. So, but the whole truth is, Jesus said that we're supposed to love our neighbors, whether they're Islamic, whether they're Jewish, whether they're atheists. We're supposed to love them into the kingdom, and that's what the whole true message is. And then there was a girl there. Her mother, I can't remember her mother was with her, and I didn't realize her mother was with her. She said, "Well, what if a girl gets raped? Do you expect her to carry this child for 9 months and suffer and that stuff? And why don't we just abort the baby?" And I said, well, there's always adoption. Well, so you expect a mother to carry a baby for 9 months so that she can suffer through this rape situation and remember it the whole time that she's carrying the baby? I said, well, I understand. I totally understand. I mean, I don't understand because I'm a guy, but I mean, but I do understand that how I seem to understand the thinking about it. But I said, well, if you abort a baby, then every time I got real close to her and I said, if you abort your baby, and then every time you see a baby, you're gonna know that what you did. And she was like, whoa, like that, and it blew her away. And then her mom said, we don't want to hear any more of your stuff. So that she grabbed her away and ran. Like, I was like, wow, I hit a point right there, because she said she just didn't know how to respond to that at all. So I said, every time you see a sweet little baby, you're going to remember what you did when you aborted your baby. So, and then after that, whoa, she didn't know how to handle that. And neither did her mother. They just short circuited as soon as I said that.
I think you gave her something to think about.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Richard. So, I just been thinking. This was probably the most eventful experience when it comes to evangelism. But I told Darius and Richard, I cannot wait to get back up there again. And I saw a lot of people say, well, look at all the people that were rioting. Yeah, but we got so many conversations. Like I said, we have more conversations than what we can handle. But, we are living, I believe, in the last days. And it says the gospel is being preached. And I'm not going to get too far into what Bible says about abomination of desolation because that actually will come next. But because I'm actually studying on that myself, so my findings are a little bit um, inclusive. So let's see. Hold on. Matthew. I want to finish up right here. Immediately after the tribulation of those days, shall the sun and be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of heaven shall be shaken. I think everybody's going to see something is going to go, something is going wrong. I remember watching this video. I sent a link to this video. It's called Noah the Movie in the church's WhatsApp. And this May Comfort, speaker there, he was interviewing a lot of people on the street. And he asked this person, what do you think is going to, what would you do if the sun goes dark or the sun turns red? He said, I think I'm going to hide under a rock because he said something's not right. So it says that people are going to know that something going to happen. And it says, and there shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. I'm not sure what that was going to be like. I remember in Acts 1, I believe, where this when Jesus was resurrected, he was sending to heaven. The whole crowd gathered underneath of him, watching him going into heaven. And there was two men standing right beside him. And he said, why are you looking up? Didn't you know that he is going to come down in like manner that he went up? So he said that the Son of Man is coming in the clouds of heaven with great power and great glory. And this I want to end on. And he, which is Jesus, sent his angels with a great sound of a trumpet. And they shall gather together his elect, or maybe I should say the believers or the Christians, from the four winds, from one end of heaven to another. That is actually pretty much ending on Matthew 24 when they're talking about future prophecy. And I think that will be a high note. I'm not sure what all is going to take place on that day, but it says, you see the world that's getting darker and darker and darker, and things are going to be becoming a lot worse. But it says, don't dismay. That God is saving a day that he is going to gather us up. And that was going to be end of the tribulation, what it says there. So, like I said, this message is more about future prophecy, but it's about a future of hope that we have something to look forward to. Thank you.